What's up? Welcome to Lenny Schmidts Quarantine Comedy, man. How are you guys doing? Thanks for being here. We're doing the intro live again, man. That's what I'm doing. I'm not doing the taped one because I didn't have time to tape it. I'm having some cord issues. Stupid. There we go. Okay, we're fine. I think we're fine. The beginning of the show, you heard that was Eruption as played by our guest, Henry Phillips, who will be out here in a few minutes. And I played it for two reasons. One, Henry Phillips is on the show today. And two, I've spent most of the last 3.5 weeks watching everything Eddie Van Halen ever did on video. So I ran across that when I was looking at Henry's stuff today. And I was like, man, I'm playing that. Because I've heard Eruption, I don't know, every day now for the last 3 weeks, at least once. Anyway, that's how I roll. How you guys doing? Thanks for being here, man. Welcome to the show. This is, if you're joining us for the first time, we're here live every Monday, Wednesday, occasionally Fridays, live streaming on the internet on YouTube. This is a show called Lenny Schmidts Quarantine Comedy. We speak with entertainers, all kinds of performers in the live entertainment industry, whether you're a club owner, a manager, a lot of comics. I talk to tons and tons of comics, some musicians, some singers, some dancers, some all kinds of people that are involved in the show, or all kinds of people that work in the live entertainment industry. I don't know if you know this, 77% of everybody that works in the live entertainment industry lost 100% of their income. That is correct. It's 100% correct. There were no live shows for a long time. Some shows are coming back, some are closing up, but the bottom line is the entertainment business was hit very hard by COVID. Like a lot of you have been. I know a lot of you guys were hit hard by COVID. I'm not saying that you have not. But this show focuses on those entertainers. You get to talk to them, see how they're doing. You can maybe catch up on some of their works, buy their merch, buy their albums, do whatever you can. It gives them an opportunity to stay in touch with you and to perform their art. If you like the show, if you watch it regularly, if you're tuning in for the first time, do me a favor, like the video. Just click. I'm gonna like the video right now. That's what I'm gonna do. This is what I do. I go over to check and see how many people are watching my video and how many people have liked the video. All right, we have a few people watching, not many people. All right, I'm liking it. Now we go. Everybody like the video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. YouTube just changed their streaming rules, by the way. I can't stream from my phone anymore because I don't have enough followers. That's right. Yeah, I only have 200 and something followers, I think. I'm not sure. But you need 1,000. I'm constantly on my mission to get 1,000 followers. If you enjoy the show, follow me. I'd appreciate it. Follow my channel, like the videos, share the videos. It's even better. Also, we don't have any sponsors. We have no one. No one plugs money in the show. You know who does? People that watch the show on a regular basis. People tune in every night, and people that watch it all the time gladly pay to watch the show. Bam! There's a couple of ways that you can donate money right there on top of my forehead. You can go to my website, LennySchmidt.com/ if you can, or you can Venmo, Cash App, or go to my Patreon. Those are all Lenny Schmidt Comedy. And there you go. You can, if you want to sponsor the show, please feel free to do so. We will gladly take your dollars to help sponsor the show. And there's a dollar option at all of those. If you watch an episode and you just like, I'm going to pay $1. I'll take pay $1. I made it simple. COVID's tough for everyone. So let's do that. You can do $1. You can do $5. On my website, there's a button. There's a $10,000 button on my website. I'm not going to tell you how many people have used it yet because I feel that'd be rude. But I can tell you it rhymes with the word no one has used it. So you figure that out. You do the math. Also, it's important. The last one there is the Patreon membership. Is a monthly membership. You can join the Patreon page and be a monthly member. I have to give a shout out to Rachel Zimmerman, who joined the Patreon page today. Thank you so much, Rachel. She's a big supporter of the show. You are the best. You've been here quite so often to watch the videos and watch the show and the Schmidt shows and the live stand-up. And I really appreciate it. It's been very, 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 very appreciated. But now Rachel is a monthly member, so she will be getting the monthly updates. That's what you get as a Patreon member. You get monthly updates. You get all kinds of stuff. So let's say hello to everybody who's here. Let's take a look. Lori Solanka is here. Nice. There's Rachel Zimmerman. How are you, Rachel? Good to see you. Again, thank you so much for joining the Patreon page. Mulligans are here, both Vince and Tammy. And there we go. And that's everyone that's here so far. Is that right? Yeah, that's it. Lori Solanka. Oh, there's more. I'm sorry. Alex was here early, and Robin Greenberg is here as well. Of course, Robin's here. Thank you guys so much. I'm blessed to have people that come in and watch the show on a regular basis. It really, really It helps me out. So without any further ado, let's get this thing. Let's get this going. Let's get to it. Let's do it. Wait, I'm gonna fix. Yeah, that's somewhat tacky. There we go. See, that's how you adjust cameras now when you're at home. Hang on, we have to fix the setup. Okay. Yeah, there we go. That's it. I got the crew working. Folks, your guest today is a good friend of mine. I've known him for years. Obviously, I haven't seen him during the COVID. We don't see anyone anymore. We're locked in our homes. But this guy, we used to hang at the Improv years ago, and I've been a big fan of his work for years, and we're going to see some of it today. He has a ton of stuff that you can check out, both online and on his very own Patreon page. But let's take a moment now and take a good look at my friend, the one and only Mr. Henry Phillips.
Ladies and gentlemen, Henry
I think
Phillips.
there's some things that women shouldn't say when you're actually in the middle of, the act of having sex or whatever. Like, I have no problem if you're doing that and at one point the girl wants to say, something like, oh, I really like it when you do this down there, whatever that is. But this girl would always be like, oh, I really like it when people, and I was like, people? That's not the right word at all, right? Yeah. That's not even like gender specific. You just kind of picture a big crowd of people, like at the DMV.
Yeah, that's the one and only right there. There he is, my good friend. Give it up for, here he comes live, Henry Phillips. Bam.
Hey, what's happening,
up?
Lenny?
What's up, brother? Thanks for doing my little show. I appreciate it, buddy. How are you?
For asking me, man. It's good to see you. It's good to see any familiar faces during this whole thing that we've been doing.
Yeah, I know, dude.
But you're definitely, yeah. I mean, I haven't seen you in a long time.
Are you one of those guys? Are you locked in constantly? Or are you going out doing something, or what are you doing?
I can't say how much of it is the quarantine and how much of it is just that I turned 50 and I'm just sort of like that anyway, so it's hard to tell. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be going out as much anymore nowadays. But out here, you're in LA or?
Yeah.
Okay,
Sherman
yeah,
Oaks. Where are you at? You're out here somewhere,
yeah.
right?
I'm in Glendale.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so we can go to restaurants and we do some not strictly bars, but places where you can go have a few beers and stuff like that. So I've been doing a little bit of that, but yeah, for the most part, working out of home, as you are too.
Right. Yeah, because you can't. What about now? Have you done an outdoor live show yet? Have you done any parking lot shows?
I have not, man. I'll tell you, even just that little clip that you showed me, I really love doing it in front of the audience, but me watching myself, I just go like, oh God. Like, I don't know if you have that same thing, but I'm not very confident in my stand-up. And I feel like if I were going to do it in a situation there's plenty of people that can do really well in those types of situations, but for some reason, I just need a traditional comedy club crowd, with lights and the microphone and all that stuff. I don't know.
Well, I don't blame you, man. I haven't. Although I would think the music would almost work in your favor in a drive-in scenario.
That probably would.
Yeah.
Probably would.
Like a little bit. But you're different than just a music act. Like, you know what I mean? Like if when you do your show, you don't just go up and do songs. You know what I mean? It's a whole thing combined with the dialogue. You got to see it, really. You know what I mean? It's not just hey, here's a song. There's a whole,
I started in coffee houses as a musician, and then prior to that, I was always into comedy. I used to love I went to the Ice House, and as a teenager, I grew up around here, so I would go watch all these things, and I would love it, but I never pictured myself doing it. But after I was doing this music act for long enough, the stuff I was saying in between the songs started getting longer and longer. And I was like, oh, I kind of got a whole act of just kind of stand up right now. So I started putting that in front, like doing 15 minutes of just the stand up. And then I pick up the guitar. And then the show started going a little better from that point on, because not a lot of people are into just seeing a guy play guitar the whole 45 minutes,
Yeah, that's kind of smart too, because then it's kind of layered. You know what I mean? You get a little stand up front, then you get a little music. It's a whole package, man.
Yeah, I miss it. I definitely miss it. I missed reading about the guy that you and I have both worked for. I know this because I think I saw your headshot up there, Dan Conlon over at the Jukebox in Illinois.
I haven't talked to the guy in years.
It might have been a long time ago. He's got all these headshots there.
Yeah,
but
I love that room, by the way. That's a great room.
Yeah, no, loved it. Yeah, he's having a tough time, I mean, as I'm sure a lot of these guys are. But
Yeah.
I wish him the best. I mean, it's like this thing is the ripple effect on this thing is just insane.
Yeah, dude, I don't know, especially for us here. It's been strict here in California, but it's going to get stricter this weekend because we got a curfew. Are you in the same? You're not in LA
Yeah.
County, are you? Or what county are you over there?
Yeah, I'm in LA County, but I'm in the city of Glendale.
Right.
So the county, but most of these regulations are countywide. If you go up to Ventura,
Yeah.
I mean, last time I was there, you can go inside a restaurant. That's really
Wow,
amazing.
really?
You don't have to be out on the patio. Yeah, they'll let you inside the restaurant. They might be changing that too. I don't know, but I will say that earlier on, I never had any friends out here in LA that had it, and now I have two. So
Yeah.
I think that it might be coming on with the flu season and stuff. There might be something coming. So I don't know.
Yeah, this is
I'm going to
tough.
try to be.
I know. Yeah, I'm worried about whatever. I mean, I thought it'd be gone by now. I'll be honest with you. I didn't think this would be 8 months later, and we're talking about shutting down again. I'm like, oh god. And there's gonna be a curfew. We got a curfew kicking in Friday here, so we have a 10 o'clock curfew.
Yeah.
So
well, and also like the fact that like it's pretty cruel because I mean, you know me, most of the time you've seen me, I've been at the Improv drinking and then probably going out for a smoke out in the front,
yeah,
which I don't do anymore. But I'm like, oh man, so you're telling me there's a disease now that just goes after people that have abused themselves for the last 20 years? Like,
yeah,
oh,
which
no.
is terrible for every comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every comic in the world
is
is
just
walking
not a
on
comic.
eggshells, right? You're scared to death. I'm not going anywhere.
Like, man, the punishment's worse than the crime. I went and had a few beers, I had some smokes, and then now you're telling me this thing just goes after people that have been doing just those things.
Yeah, that's
But
kind of.
anyway,
It's BS because after I figured at this age I'm 55. I figured now I'm like, all right, I've got it all behind me, and I'll just ride out. I'll ride out the back end, and I'll be all right. Now there's something I got to be afraid of on a 24-hour basis. So yeah,
I
that's
know,
nice.
bringing back your old demons, but no, I don't want to get too dark here. I'm going to hunker down a little more than usual for the next couple weeks and just see what's going on out there. But
Right.
I don't think it. Yeah, I've got two friends that have it, so I just want to be careful.
Yeah, I've talked to a few people. I do. Mark, I was a buddy of mine. Mark Gross. He posted a bunch of stuff on his Facebook the other day.
I saw that.
He was one guy too. Yeah. So.
Yeah, like it was really, really kicking his butt, and then my other friend works in the healthcare industry, so he might have gotten it that way, because they're right there on the front lines. And he said it'll be like a day of feeling like he's on his deathbed, and then another day of feeling like, oh, good, I'm done with that. And then he wakes up the next morning and he can't move because he's just floored, and nightmares and sweats, and it's just like this isn't. I don't think either of them have had to go to the hospital yet, though. I don't think Mark had to go to the hospital. I'm not sure.
I don't know, man. All I know is it hits everybody so differently, and and when it hits you bad, it hits you really bad. I know people that did that. Like Mark said, he couldn't walk across the room. And you're like, I mean, I remember what bad flu feels like, so I can only imagine what that feels like.
Yeah.
So.
I don't feel that good anyway.
Yeah, when you mentioned 50 and not going out, I'm with you, brother. It's like COVID almost worked in my favor, where I was like, I can't go. Oh, that's too bad. I would, but there's rules. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Well, man, and I said this when we were off the air, but like you look great. You haven't changed. I looked at a picture that you're in with Mitch Hedberg and Tom Rhodes and Stanhope and all those guys, and you're right there. And you haven't changed much at all. Maybe some facial hair.
I should have put that picture in here. The best thing. Who is it?
Well,
hold it up. Josh Wolf pointed out the amount of chest hair I'm showing in the picture.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, dude. Look at the low cut. Okay, there you go. It's good.
This is gonna be.
If you look to the left, I'm the one. Yeah. Well, look at the guy with the chest hair. That's me right there.
I think if I turn down the brightness on this thing, that'll help. Hold on a sec.
That used to be my look, dude. Was a low cut shirt and the necklaces.
Oh, okay. Really?
And the spiked hair with the gel that was so hard it could cut people. Yeah, that was my '90s look right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
I think this might be better here. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, dude, that looks beautiful, dude.
Well, we can see the chest
That's
hair. That
Tom Rhodes on the left. That's me next to Tom. That's Jeff Stanhope next to me. Then Doug Stanhope, and then Mitch Hedberg in the back, and then Louis C.K. on the far right.
Louis C.K. there. And then I went off. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So tell me a little bit about that. That was Chicago.
That was the
98,
Chicago Comedy Festival in 1998, man. About 20 minutes after that, we got into a cab. All of those people got into a cab, except Louis didn't come with us, and Tom. It was me, Jeff, Doug, Mitch, and John McClellan, and I think that was it. And we crammed into a cab. And this is Chicago, so the bars are open till 6, you know? So it's like the after parties at the festival were going on forever. So we left the party at like 2:30, and we said, well, let's go to Kingston Mines. So we jumped in the cab and went down to the Blues Club, which is down off of Ashland. That's open till like 6 in the morning. And we crammed into this cab, and there was a cab driver who was Muslim, and we were swearing and filthy mouth, and we were just animals. We were just, we're drunk comics, just being idiots. And then somebody said, Jesus Christ, and the cab driver lost his mind. And then McClellan and the cab driver got into an argument. So John was like, so we can say everything except Jesus Christ. He's like, don't say it. And every time he would say it, the cab driver got upset. So it was a scene. It was a whole scene going to the Kingston Mines. And we were and we were hammered. We were so drunk. We were so very drunk. And then we were going out, and we went to Kingston Mines till 7 or 8 in the morning. We walked out of there till it was bright out. And that whole weekend was a blur. Everybody was at that. That was a big weekend. Billy Gardell was there. Carl LeBeau. That was the first time they had Tony Clifton. You know who Tony Clifton is?
Oh yeah.
Tony Clifton was the character that Andy Kaufman had a manager or a buddy named Tony Clifton.
Yeah.
That he kind of played, and then Bob Zmuda, and he bounced back between Bob Zmuda doing it. So Zmuda Clifton showed up at that festival for that was Clifton's first live performance since Andy had died. So it was great. We're in the back of the room, and Clifton walks in. He's just classic Tony Clifton, he's being an ass. It was epic. Dude, it was comedy history. Yeah, it was cool. It was very cool to watch, man. And it was nice to meet Zmuda, and it was really. That was a great festival, man. I can't. It was produced by Dan Kaufman and Kevin Rogers, and after that, I think they did one more, and then they ended up not doing another one. But they had a problem with funding and some other stuff. But I don't think those guys ever got the credit for the festival they threw that year. Louis premiered his first movie, which I can't remember the name. Movie.
I remember. Yeah, I remember seeing that at that time.
That weird movie with the
black and white one.
Yeah, is that the one where him or somebody sits in the bowl of ice cream? And
there was a lot of kind of surreal type stuff. Yeah, I remember. I watched it. Somebody had a VHS of it, and I watched it a few times. I was always a huge fan of his. I mean, it was just like he was always just doing weird stuff, and his stand-up was amazing too.
Yeah.
But so Chicago. So what was this during? The winter, or would it have been the summer? I'm trying to think of when.
No, it was kind of. I think it was cold out, so I think it was in the fall.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Man, I was doing a gig out there called the North Bar on North Avenue near Milwaukee.
Yeah.
What's that neighborhood called? Do you know?
Is that Bucktown?
It's a great name. What is it?
Bucktown.
Maybe so. Yeah. I just love that neighborhood.
Yeah, that's Bucktown. There's some awesome bars in that because there's a 6-way, Milwaukee North, and there's another street there. I can't remember the street off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And so I would walk around nervously before I would do the shows, and then I'd eventually walk back. I'd walk in that area and then walk a couple blocks to the bar, which was on North, and it's just really good times. And what I liked so much about Chicago is that I was just kind of fascinated to see people from different demographics talking to each other. I'm used to out here, it's like a 55-year-old guy and like a 23-year-old model or something for whatever reason, they don't just find themselves just sitting there chatting a lot of times in LA. It just doesn't really happen. I wish it did more often, but it just doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah.
But out there, it was just sort of like, hey, what's going on? Oh, where do you live? Oh, you're over at the thing. Oh, yeah, we just did that with, I took the kids out to blah, blah, blah. And you're just seeing different groups of people all hanging out. And so it just felt like everybody was a conversationalist. Everybody was having a good time. And I don't know, I really enjoyed that part of it.
It's a really friendly city, man. You can walk around that city anywhere, walk into any bar and have a couple of drinks and end up talking to people at the end of the night. You know what I mean? It's a really cool vibe. Yeah, it's very cool.
Well, out here in LA, I always gravitated toward the Chicago people, like the ones that were out here. Yeah. Like yourself and Steve Seagren used to. Yeah. I think he was a Chicago guy, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we used to do that late Thursday night at the Improv thing. That's when we would all hang out, and that bar was almost all Chicago guys. Yeah, it was all Steve and Joey Gutierrez and for Jimmy Pardo and Jimmy Doors there for a while. Rob. Yeah. It was. Damn, there was someone else I'm trying to think of. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. There's a bunch of guys. We all did Thursday night. We hung out there Thursday night. It was a good time. It was a lot of fun. Rich Brown. Yeah. He was another guy who used to hang out there. Rich Brown.
Oh, yeah.
I love Rich Brown.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was fun, man.
Great. Yeah. I mean, for people out there that aren't in comedy, just the force of comedy coming out of Chicago is just insane.
Dude, long before me and long after me. There's great talent. Well, Amy Poehler came out of Chicago, and she was in that Louis C.K. movie. She was in that. She was in that movie. She had a small part in that movie. Hey, let me. I want to say hello. There's a couple people on here that are saying hello to you, so I want to make sure I give them respect. First, Jake Belcher's here. And,
Jake Belcher.
I haven't seen Jake in forever, man. I haven't seen Jake before he lost the weight. He lost like 200 pounds or something like that. You seen him? He looks great.
Oh, I haven't seen Jake. I haven't seen you in a couple of years. We were in Glendale, actually.
Yeah.
We were doing an interview on his podcast.
And Steve Reisman said something. I just saw him. He's the guy that just joined my page. But he knows Milwaukee, North, and Damon. It was Damon. I was right. He's from Chicago.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
so you got a Chicago guy out there.
Yeah, there's a few. That's
Chicago
the Bucktown
fact check.
I have plenty of people fact checking me. I'm good there. It's a lot of mistakes and a lot of things happening. Dude, so I sat down and watched literally tons of your stuff over the last few days.
Awesome.
And there's so much of it that I want to let's do this first. I want to get to the big one after, but I'm a huge, I don't know. I was a chef apprentice for years, dude. I was in the cooking. And,
really?
Yeah. So I almost went into cooking school. I ran kitchens before I did stand up. So I
never knew that.
Yeah, I knew cooking really well. In fact, when I started doing stand up, I used to go to Chicago and I knew chefs in Chicago, and I would go and run their kitchen for 4 nights when I was off and then go back on the road. And that's how I made my money. It was my side job. You know what I mean? Was to be able, because I could run any line anywhere. So it was simple.
Wow.
But I bring it up because the Henry's Kitchen, dude. I love the videos. They're the best. I have the promo for Henry's Kitchen here. When this is the masterclass, which I just saw today, which I think is brilliant.
Oh yeah.
But we're gonna play that. Do you want to set it up in any way, or I'm gonna play? I'm just gonna fire it up.
This is after the show sort of went viral on my on YouTube on my own series that I was doing from my kitchen. I got asked by the company Thrillist to come and do the master class, the Henry's Kitchen master class, and we had a big budget and everything, and beautiful sets and everything. And so I was like, all right, this is different, but I'm gonna have a fun time with it. So this is the intro for that.
All right, Matt, this is the intro for Henry's Kitchen masterclass.
Henry's Kitchen, scene A, take 1.
Cooking is never easy, and it's never fun. But if it were, then they wouldn't call it cooking. I've been cooking for almost 6 years now, and I've been teaching it for even longer. And when the folks at Thrillist approached me and asked if I would teach a master chef class, I was humbled, because I looked at this as an opportunity to share the vast amounts of knowledge that I've accumulated over the last 6 years of, accumulating massive amounts of knowledge about cooking. If you have a really good saute pan, you don't need somebody to share your life with. In the mid-20th century, there was a French performance artist named Le Pétomane, and he was famous for sticking a rubber hose up his ass, and he would fart the French national anthem. And at the time, of course, everybody just laughed at him. But as it turns out, he was right. I'll see these young chefs making stupid mistakes, and I understand them because I made those same mistakes. I've used soy sauce instead of vanilla extract, or I've left a casserole in the oven for 6 hours only to realize that I didn't even turn the oven on, or I tried to gut a fish with a butter knife once. I've done stupid things like that just like they have, and that's why I understand it. We all start at the same level. It's where we end up that is where we go. I'm not trying to save the world. Saving the world is easy. I'm trying to cook, and cooking is hard. I'm Henry Phillips, and this is my Master Chef class.
Dude, I love that. Dude, that's beautiful.
Man, yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, they let me do whatever I wanted, and yeah, we. Now, as somebody who actually knows about cooking, that must be a different perspective. My goal is always to hope that somebody just really wants to look up this recipe and do it, and then they start sort of getting trolled in halfway through. That's just always been my goal.
So somebody gets like three-quarters into their video and then goes, "This can't be right. This is
exactly
Google
yeah.
this."
It's like
So they're Googling
yeah,
it.
because I'll call it how to make a vegan pizza, vegan gluten-free pizza, and then I'm putting an egg in there, and cheese and stuff like that, and then it's like, wait a second, you can't put egg and cheese, and it'll start these arguments underneath and everything.
Sure.
So I'm having a real blast. I still have been making them. It's been about 9 years now.
Dude, I love it. Somebody will make it and put it down, all proud of themselves. That's a gluten pizza. I got the recipe.
Yeah,
I got the recipe on the internet. I just want you to know.
Oh man, yeah.
Trying to impress. This guy's eating it, swelling up. He's like,
yeah. I was like, well, he said it was gluten free. The guy on YouTube.
Dude, I love it. They're good, dude. You're one of the best. You're one of the best guys at non sequiturs that I know. I love, you know what I mean? When you explain something that's supposed to, the French guy with the hose up the ass, and then he's right, dude. That's genius. Yeah. That's your wheelhouse, brother. That's your stuff. It's the thing that doesn't connect, and you just shrug it off and go, so there. And that's brilliant, man. It's really brilliant. You play it so well, man. That's the best.
Thanks, Lenny. That one started. Twitter was really good for me because I started doing a lot of one-liners and trying to think how can you do a complete left turn right in the middle of a sentence like that. And that was originally a tweet, and then you see like, oh, okay, a lot of people liked it, and so then it becomes like a comedy notebook. It's like, well, I have the right to pull that one out and put it in this thing,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't steal somebody else's tweet, but I can steal my own.
Steal your own stuff. Yeah, why not? There you go. Smart. That's good. Yeah, you might as well. Somebody else is taking your tweets and telling it like it's theirs somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's happening.
Yeah.
That's funny. I know people who won't tweet because I don't want people stealing my stuff. But I go, we'll write more. I don't know what to tell you, but everybody, this day and age, man, you gotta you put it out there.
Yeah, and it's timestamped, so you can always say, "Hey, look, here's my date on that thing." I had that joke, but yeah, I remember that too. Man, when you think about all the things, the philosophies that have changed, just like doing stuff for free, for example, was always a pain in the ass, But
right.
It's like that, just sort of like I have 2 movies now, and I'm very sad to report we didn't make any money on either of them. I mean, the investors who I'm friends with, I've gone out to drinks with, and they're the greatest people in the world. But they're wealthy people, like for the second movie. But yeah, I believe I don't want to talk out of turn here, but I'm pretty sure they lost their money. But they, I mean,
well, the first one was Punching the Clown, which. There was and the sequel was the Punching Henry, which you had a monster cast in that second one, dude.
Clown, yeah, the first one. So one of my best friends, we were in college together. There's a Frenchman named Gregory Viens, and he and I, very different people in terms of like he was always into film, and I was really into doing the comedy thing. And but I would always tell him these stories, and he's like, "Man, we got to put these stories into film." so we talked about it for years, and then finally, when the technology, back in about 2008, the technology started getting such that you could actually make a movie, you know, and so he begged, borrowed, and stole from, you know, taking his own life savings, taking out new credit cards, borrowing from family members. I borrowed from a couple of family members who are still very bitter about it. But yeah, no, we lost all that money. It did get on Netflix, but Netflix, you know, for about 2 years was paying for it, and then they eventually stopped it, and now it just lives on Amazon Prime. But and yeah, you get pennies. But it's become that, man, a movie, you would think, like back in the day, like, you know, in 2000 or something, it'd be like, wow, I have an actual movie that's going to be good. But
like a feature too. They're two legitimate features. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just seems like there's so much content out there that you're lucky to get even that in front of people. You know, it's just it's tough. Everything has become sort of a calling card to get people that are fans, you know, and then show up to your shows and stuff. I guess that's the end goal.
Yeah, I guess. You know what? Also, it's going like kind of what I've been doing now the last few weeks. It's people to follow you online and watch your content. I mean, that's like,
yeah.
Most of the stuff I put up online is free. Like this show is free. You can watch it for free, and then I'll tell people if they want, they can sponsor the show. And then there's other stuff I do, like you're doing now, which we'll get to in a minute. That you there's some stuff you put up free, and there's other stuff you put up that you tell them to pay. You go, well, this is going to cost you $1, or this is going to cost you whatever. And I've been doing this pay whatever the hell you want plan, which is you hit the link and then you type in and pay whatever you want to do. So every once in a while, some content I do, the people that watch regularly, they do pay, and they'll pay something. So I think it's going to thank God. First of all, it's going to step farther besides getting people out to see your show, because there are no shows. I mean, we're screwed enough as it is. No.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we can talk a little bit about that too. I started doing a lot less of the road work. It started, maybe it was because of my age or whatever, but I was just like, man, the idea of getting on a plane at LAX and then flying to some town and being there for a week just was less and less appealing to me, and the money was getting less and less. So I was like, I don't know how many times I can make this work, you know? Yeah. So I started looking for other things to do, and then that's where I discovered Patreon, you know, which you have also. It's just it's a direct way for people to finance, you know, whatever projects that you're doing. Fund your projects. Is there a difference between financing a project and financing? Sounds like a guy in a suit, you know, saying, "All right, I'm going to finance you."
I don't know. I never know which. I never know which one to use to make it sound cool. You know what I mean? Like, I want it to sound professional.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, "Hey, give me money," or, you know what I mean. That's the other thing. You don't want to be begging like a, you know. I'm like, hey, if you enjoy it, and it's hard, because at first it's hard enough. I was one of those guys who always had trouble selling CDs after pimping it from the stage. You know, even though it's like a recorded product of your own stuff, my pitch was terrible. I was like, you know, if you want this, it's back there. If not, you know, I wouldn't. I wouldn't get it if I was you.
Yeah, the same thing. Yeah, it's like, oh man, yeah. And I always hated the fact that it's like nobody that I ever admired when I went to rock concerts when I was a kid was saying, by the way, guys, let me just give you a little. You know, it's like I wasn't seeing like Mick Jagger up there. Hey guys, please buy a T-shirt out in the front.
You go right. That's the best. Hey, we got some new cozies. We have beer cozies out there. They say Rolling
there wasn't
Stones.
a whole commercial at the end for the merch, you know.
There wasn't a big pitch at the end.
They didn't even know the people who were selling that stuff. Yeah.
Right.
But
they didn't have jokes written in. We used to write jokes in for your pitch. Who wants a little more? Who wants a little more? Then see me in the lobby. I'll be selling merch afterwards.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't even remember, but I had a whole list of them. Yeah, because you had to make it sound like you're making fun of it in order to still have some self-respect, you know?
Yeah, that was the only way to make it work without feeling like a whore. You know what I mean? I always felt terrible when I was pitching it. It was like...
And I very rarely sold anything at the Improv, especially because I was like, well, now I've got all my comedian friends around me. I don't want to be selling stuff right in front of them. That's the worst case scenario. I'll do it on the road, but I'm not going to do it right there in the lobby.
Yeah, if I'm going to sell my soul, I'm not selling my soul on Melrose.
Yeah, that would set up a table there, and all the power to them. But I could not do that. I'd be getting just roasted left and right.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd
If
be
I found one of
impossible.
your CDs at the dollar store and I didn't even buy it.
Yeah. They'll be walking up while you're selling them going, you sure you want to buy that? I don't know. I don't know if I would. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I got one at home, use it as a coaster. You're like, get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, if there's any truth, you'll find out about it there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right on. So, dude, all right. Well, but that's what you've always taped a lot of your own. You've always taped a lot of your own stuff. Like, let's do with the cooking channel, which you've been doing for years now. The Henry's Kitchen.
Yeah.
Also, the Where's Your Effing Coffee, which is I watched.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have one of those clips with me here, and I couldn't get the movies because they're very well protected. Those movies, they don't mess around.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, you can go. Well, anybody with Amazon Prime can go to you can do all of it there actually. Yeah, you can do the coffee videos there too, or just YouTube. Yeah, it's called. We can swear on here or no? I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because the show's actually called You and Your Fucking Coffee.
Right.
And I just always have to ask.
No, I'm glad you do. Some people don't. I had Schubert on here a few months ago. He doesn't ask nothing.
Oh man.
He just goes.
Yeah.
Before you know it, he's telling anal jokes. I'm like, all right, I guess we're not going to be clean.
Oh
today.
yeah. Oh man. But yeah, so
But I watched them all on Amazon last night. I watched everything on Amazon. I watched Punching the Clown, and I watched all of the coffee episodes. There's 7 of them.
And then that comedy special that you played an excerpt from, that's on Amazon also. Yeah, Amazon's cool because it's sort of like it's a place that stuff can live. I'm trying to. I want to stop bringing up money because it's such a depressing subject. But yeah, I'm not getting rich off the Amazon stuff. But it's a way that it gets out.
Yeah, but, plus, and everybody's home watching shit now. So you know what I mean. If they start Googling through. They Google your name. You type in your name on Amazon, a whole bunch of stuff comes up. So.
Oh yeah, some of it I'd be afraid to, put in my name. Can't read those reviews, man. That was tough. When we were on Netflix,
Oh really? Yeah, movie. Don't do that to yourself, dude. Is that frustrating?
That's another thing that's changed. Like, do you remember there was a time when you didn't really hear what somebody thought of you? Right. It's like, right. Yeah, I mean,
you only heard the good stuff. Nobody went out of the way to tell you that you sucked. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
now they can type it on your page, and you're like, whoa.
I remember. Yeah, I know. I remember the first time it happened. It was when MySpace came out, and they used a video clip of mine on the front page, and I was so excited. I was like, "This is it, man! I'm going to get that traffic coming in and everything like that." And
sure.
There were some okay ones, but there were some brutal ones, and I had never had anybody say that because, like you said, people don't just come up to you and say that stuff. Maybe if they're driving in a car, they'll yell something at you. But yeah, I was like, oh man. I mean, I had all kinds of. This guy's a gay Mitch Hedberg or whatever, which doesn't even make sense to me in any way. But
dude, it's funny you're remembering the ones that make no sense whatsoever. Why is that one bothering me?
You just have to think about it for a long time.
Dude, I know how you feel, dude. Just on the show, I see a thumbs down and I get annoyed. I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Why is there a thumbs down?
Where is that guy? Where is that person? I want to talk to them. But yeah, so when the movie was on Netflix and you've put your heart and soul for years into, I mean, we were writing that script for years.
Yeah.
And just to see somebody just trash it in such an easy blow, and you're just like, oh, wow. Even just somebody saying, boring, next. And you're just like, oh, man, I put my life into that.
Really boring?
Yeah.
You know how much work I put into that?
Yeah.
Where did that? Was that at Slam Fest? Where was that scene? Did you win awards for the movie?
Slamdance. Yeah.
Okay.
It was sort of the alternative Sundance. It was the alternative version. And you know what? I was at the jukebox the night that it premiered, so I wasn't able to go to the screening.
Oh wow!
But Greg, the director, my partner with the movie. He was there, and he called me, and I was working with my buddy Mike McRae, and we were at Jukebox Comedy Club, and he called me, and he said, man, it went over like gangbusters, like you wouldn't have believed it. It was like it was 200 people just going ape shit over every line, and I was like, man, I wish I could have been there. But so we knew that we were onto something, you know, and then we did the whole festival run for the next couple of years. You know, we did one in New York where we won an award for Moby for best use of music in the movie, and then there
Right.
was the audience award at Slamdance. Baltimore, Vancouver. I got to go to all these towns, but different towns than we go to with stand up. You know, they were like, it was, you know, because chances are New York's not going to say, hey, let's get Henry Phillips here. I don't care how much he charges. You know, they're not going to say that in New York City or Chicago or pretty much any big
Right.
city. So that's why you're most likely going to be in, you know, Evansville, Indiana. Not to put down Evansville, Indiana, but they have less going on there, and so they're, you know, that's those are my places. But yeah, so but it was pretty cool to all of a sudden go to cities that I had only heard of, you know, Boulder, Colorado, and Vancouver, and
Dude, those are great cities too. I love Boulder and Vancouver. Both of them are
yeah,
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, very nice. So that was pretty fun. Yeah, and they'd fly me out there, and we'd watch the movie, and I was like, oh, this is cool. The festival circuit, man. I hope the indie film business comes back because that's exciting. You know, independent filmmaking.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that'll be one of the first things to come out after COVID.
Well, I was thinking about it from this aspect. I think if anything, independent films will come back earlier and first, because you know who's going to get affected is, and I thought about this. Like I've done some, you know, I've worked on ER and some other big shows and some stuff, and every time I go to those shows and I work on them, I'm like, why are there 300 people here? We don't need 300 people to shoot this scene.
Yeah, yeah.
It just seems insane to me. And with an independent film, you sometimes it's just you and like 7 people, maybe. You know what I mean? A camera guy, sound guy, depending on what you're doing. You know what I mean? You keep your overhead
Yeah.
low. So I think social distancing and so forth is going to come back. Not only is independent film going to come back, but I think a lot of major production stuff is going to have to cut back on who they use. You know, the unions are going to have to get involved, bro. The unions are going to have to cut back on some of their rules because you know the whole system, the whole business is going to change completely moving forward. But independent films,
Yeah,
so like a lot of the stuff you shoot, you've shot so much stuff independently on your own.
yeah.
That type of stuff
Well, the
I think
Henry
comes
Kitchen,
back, huh?
the Henry's Kitchen's easy because it's just me. You know, the
Right.
Henry's Kitchen stuff is just me. I have a new one called The Highwayman, and that one we've been shooting during COVID, so we've been taking some precautions. Uh, it's fun to talk about if you want me to tell you a little bit about some of the hurdles that we've had. You know,
Go ahead, dude.
um,
I have some stuff from the Highwayman, and I also have a PSA about
oh,
social distancing from the
oh yeah,
Highwayman.
yeah,
I have that as
yeah.
well.
Okay, great. Well, yeah. So the Highwayman was born out of this trying to make fun of like Highway to Heaven. My fiance Deborah Robinson actually came up with the idea, and I just always love, you know, the loser type guy, and this is a guy who wants to be Michael Landon in the Highway to Heaven, but he doesn't know shit about how to help people, and he winds up making their life worse than it was when he showed up. But so the challenge though was like during COVID, how are we going to do this? Because I called, like, the first actor I called was Francisco Ramos, who's a buddy of mine, who's a very funny guy, and he was worried, like we all were, and we're like, how are we going to do this? And I found a bar that was huge that was going to let us shoot in there. So what we did was we just looked straight on and kind of did it like it's an old Western thing where we're not looking at each other. So that way we're not like spitting on each other when we're talking and stuff. And we're just shooting it kind of artsy like that, you know, so we weren't actually talking to each other in a traditional way that you would see in a film.
Right.
And then we did another shoot that involved his girlfriend, and then she became a character, and then they were able to communicate in a traditional way because they're a pod, you know, like they already are, they're not worried about giving COVID to each other because they live together or whatever.
Sure. Right.
So it's
Yeah.
like, so that became kind of a workaround. Suddenly you're like, oh, how did you get a film with 2 actors, you know, touching each other and then doing a traditional scene? Well, they're already in the same household, so it works, you know. So there was a lot of stuff like that. And I also have these lav mics that I wouldn't touch for a few days beforehand, and we're
Right.
sanitized. So a lot of that stuff. But you're right. I think independent films might be the way to go because you can actually do that as opposed to,
Right.
you know, making these, like, you got to have a catering guy, and that's when you start getting into COVID problems, you know. So,
Right. That's where they're gonna have to change. They have the thing where you have to have 4 grips per whatever, you know, and you're like,
yeah,
you're gonna have to look at that, and they're gonna have to really rearrange that. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah, they can't all be in the same. Yeah.
yeah, and with
can't have
independent films, there's usually one guy that does 9 things. You know what I mean? It's
Oh yeah.
really goes back
Well,
to
the
the old.
director Greg on our films, he just did it all on his laptop. He did
Right.
all of the, But yeah, when you see the footage of like Stanley Kubrick or whatever in the editing room, and there's like 4 guys in this tiny little place, and you can't have the director leaning over your shoulder and spitting all over you when he's talking
Sure.
and stuff. That's
Guys,
not gonna happen.
No ventilation in that room. Breathing on each other.
Yeah.
Roll that scene
Yeah,
back.
really, everything changed. But it happened at a time where technology is so advanced. Even just what we're doing right now is already infinitely better than what we had, I think.
Yeah.
If you had this 2 years ago, you'd be doing it on Skype, I guess.
Yeah. No, look at all the stuff I'm doing now. I'm amazed with this because I'm not smart either, Henry. I can't. You know what I mean?
Same here.
Figuring this stuff out.
User friendly.
Yeah, guys, this stuff is like dummy proof now, where I can, it's gotten to a point where I can plug in a cord, and if it doesn't work, I just do something else, and it looks pretty good for a guy that doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah.
No, yeah, they've really worked it out. Because my mom wanted to Zoom something, and I'm just like, just click on the link, it'll be fine. And she was so intimidated by it, but when she finally did it, it was like, oh, that actually wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
It's like they've got it now they've got it down.
Yeah, they had to, where everybody has to figure it out. I mean, my mom's figuring shit out.
Yeah.
I remember the old days when your parents had a VCR and it just clicked 12 over and over again. You know what I mean? Because they didn't. They couldn't fix it.
Absolutely, that was like the beginning of parents.
It was trying to figure out what the hell they were doing. And answering machines.
Now forget about it. They're just completely lost.
Yeah, right, exactly. All right, well, I got a couple. Let's show one of these PSAs, man. Let's show the PSA.
Okay.
This is the one about listening to each other. I like this one. This is the one I wanted to play first. So this is from The Highwayman, which we'll talk about more now in a second, but I'm going to play the PSA first because it's very relevant to what's going on in the world right now. So everybody pay attention to some advice from our friend Henry Phillips as The Highwayman.
Hey everyone, it's the Highwayman here. Let's face it, the coronavirus has been pretty tough on all of us, and being cooped up with our loved ones sometimes can drive us a little crazy. But it's important to remember that we're a community, and we need to be more accepting of other people's opinions, even if they're different from our own. Maybe your neighbor thinks the virus is so bad that we all might as well just light ourselves on fire. Or maybe your grocer thinks the whole thing's just a government conspiracy to put a chip in a vaccine so that they can control our minds. Or maybe your parents don't even know what day it is. But the important thing is to listen to someone's opinion and then give them a big old hug after, because we're all in this together. Don't forget that the highwayman always takes the highway, man.
All right, strong advice from the Highwayman. That's very good.
Yeah. So, and hopefully one of the subtler jokes in there is you can't give somebody a big hug right now.
I was going to ask you about that afterwards. I was going to, but it was all great right up till the hug part. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, I started watching. So yeah, the idea came. We hadn't made any episodes yet, but I was thinking for promo, I would do these like COVID PSAs for it, and I watched on YouTube. You can see all these old PSAs that we grew up with, back in the 70s and the 80s for kids, and man, they are really, really uncomfortable.
Right.
You might notice some things happening with your body. Maybe some hairs growing in some places, and it's like, come on, man, let's stop talking about this.
Have you ever hear those when you're in class? You look at your friends, you're like, oh God, oh God,
oh yeah,
oh God, oh God.
Extremely uncomfortable.
So how many? All right, let's talk about the Highwayman, man, which I love it. It's I watched the episode that you sent me, and then let's talk about how people can see it too, because I like the way you set this up on Patreon. It's really smart.
Well, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can subscribe, and I'm going to start putting more and more of them on YouTube. But for right now, there's just the one episode, Boots the Clown, and then there's patreon.com/highwaymanshow. And that is the portal to all of the episodes. So I've done like 13 of them, I think. There's this first season of 8. And then,
Oh, wow. Right on.
3, yeah. So like 11 at least. And yeah, I've got a whole subplot built in there. And then, a theme song with an opening montage and all that stuff. And it's kind of based on a few things. One of them is Highway to Heaven, which is classic because it was
Right,
like
yeah.
Michael Landon.
Yeah.
And he's just all in that low angle, just looking up at him like he's God or something, like that. And so I try to do sort of the anti version of that. And then there's also a show from Canada that we're on to called The Littlest Hobo. And I guess everybody there sort of grew up with it. It's amazing how many people know this show, but it was a dog that would go from town to town and change people's lives, and it's just completely ridiculous. And so we're trying to incorporate that also. You can watch that one on YouTube. And but yeah, so we're just trying to make retro style content, trying to make it look like one of those shows from way back when, like a form of escapism.
Right. Well, so that's perfect setup for this clip then. I'm going to show, this isn't the whole episode, but I want to play the intro to the episode because it explains the whole show. It's a perfect intro.
Oh, yeah.
And
Way too much about the show.
and it comes across, and it's total 70s Hulk. You know what I mean? That whole, you know what I mean? It totally
right out of the Hulk. Yeah.
Oh, it's perfect, dude. It's perfect. So this is the beginning. This is the episode 3, but this is the beginning of the clip and the intro. This will tell you everything you pretty much need to know about the Highwayman. So here we go.
Jake Evans was an architect and an everyday citizen until a freak accident caused him to experience highly unusual levels of lower back pain. And he was forced to live on long-term disability insurance.
Jake was driving on a bridge one night. He saw a lady taking her own life. But first she handed him a box and said, "You've got to give this to Dr. Wilson." That day forward, Jake was traumatized. He knew somehow he had to make things right. And so he wanders helping people in need, and he goes by the name of the Highwayman.
The Highwayman.
Highwayman, keep on doing the best you can, helping people all across the land. I love you, Highwayman.
Dude, you got to be kidding me. I love that intro so much.
Oh, thanks.
Dude, I love the guy.
Yes.
Dude, I love the guy with the box. I love the box and the doctor thing, and then the bumper at the end of, or the tag at the end of this episode. I laugh so hard because it doesn't make any sense. I'm like,
It's just totally ridiculous.
dude, it's hilarious. It's the best. It's brilliant,
Oh,
man.
thanks.
Yeah, it's
I've
really.
been having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it's good work, man. It looks really, it looks awesome. So there's, I'll like I do with everybody at the end of the show, I put all your info, all your links in the bio, so they can go to, and they can click it. Somebody had a question for you, man. Let me see if I can see what happened. Brenda asked how long it took to shop, but she didn't say what it was. Brenda Runyon, who's a supporter of the show.
Let's think about that. So wait, so when did she send that?
I think she wasn't talking about. Oh,
Maybe the movie.
Brenda, you're still watching. Brenda, what did you want to know how long it took to? Oh, wait. Have you and Henry ever done a film together? No, we have not. So there's an answer.
No, we have not. We're gonna have to.
No, we're gonna have to now. Henry's.
That would be great.
That would be great. Henry's already on my list of people to call when things gear back up. Somebody else said something. Wow, we have a lot of people watching. That's cool. You guys are great. Thank you, dude. Everybody loves your stuff. Everybody loves it. Word association. Everybody's
That's
very
great.
sweet.
If they were talking about how long the first movie took to make, I think it was 21 days of principal shooting, and then 7 or 8 pickup shots over the next couple months, and then all the editing was, 4 months of just.
Dude, that takes forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
People don't realize who edited the film.
Greg, so he and I met at UCLA. We were both political science majors. We weren't even doing anything in entertainment. And then I started dipping my foot into comedy at open mic nights. And then he went to film school, but we still kept up. And I would just tell him all these ridiculous stories from my comedy life. And he was like, man, let's make a movie. And it took, I guess, about 12 years from the time that we graduated from school to the time that we actually had the movie.
Wow. That's phenomenal. But people don't realize how long it takes to edit something. You know what I mean? That's the longest. That's the longest thing is the editing.
Well, yeah, and it's so important. Any movie that everybody likes out there could have easily been a huge piece of crap.
Yeah, exactly.
If just edited poorly, and a lot of them are. It's like there's some movies that you describe. If you tell your friend, like, I saw this movie, it was pretty lousy. Oh, what was it about? And then you describe what it's about. And then they're like, wow, that sounds amazing. It sounds great. And it's like, it sounds great.
Sounds
but it
great.
just wasn't for whatever reason. That happens all.
Yeah, it read great, too. The bio, the description looked good. It seemed good going in.
Yeah.
And 20 minutes in, we realized, we made a terrible mistake. This is not a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have people made a movie about a book that everybody loves and then they hate the movie,
All right, Alex. Alex is asking, I know why he's asking this question, because I read your tweet. He said, ask Henry about his book sales.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
See, my people do research, man. They go through and they read. They know what's going on.
I checked my Amazon sales, and there was a whole lot of nothing, except for one of them had a little tag on the tally, and then I realized it was just a smudge on the computer screen. So still at zero, but yeah, that's the Henry's Kitchen Cookbook. I sell some merch on the kitchen videos, but thanks.
How many pages is the cookbook?
I think it's like, well, I know it's 20 recipes. And I think probably about 2 pages per, so maybe about 50 pages.
That's a really good idea. Is having a cookbook for that show. You know what I mean? Are the recipes as ridiculous as the video clips?
Yeah, they're pretty much the same recipes from the video,
sure.
But I talk about them and I have screenshots about them, but I have some one-liners and stuff like that. And,
right.
It's basically the book version of the videos.
Right. That's perfect. That's a great idea, man. That's really smart. That's another thing you could sell after the show, to the crowd.
I was doing that sort of toward the end of, I say the end, I mean, hopefully we'll get back out there, but the gigs that I was doing leading up to the quarantine, I was selling stuff that was Henry's Kitchen related at my shows because that's where most of the people were coming from. And going back to Chicago, I did a show there. I was used to I used to do this deal, a door deal at the bar that I was talking about, the North Bar. Yeah. And I was always about 70 or 80 people coming out and paying like $15, and that was great for one night. And but all of a sudden we did it one year, and it was all people from the kitchen show. I was used to them knowing me from stand up or from whatever other various. But like half of the people there, they didn't even know, because I had announced like, hey, if you want to see me, I'll be in Chicago. And they didn't even know what I was going to do. They just know these kitchen videos, and they started showing up. So I was like, oh, this is really cool. So I finally just sort of went all in on it and started selling the cookbooks and everything.
That's smart. Well, you got a huge following on there, dude. Are most of you I think you've got, I checked your YouTube page. Hold on, let me see. How many followers do you know? Do you know off the top of your head how many followers you have?
About 50,000, but they don't all watch. Like when you do a video now, I get like 3,000 or 4,000 views. It used to be that you would get as many views as you had subscribers, but it's not like that anymore. I don't know. There's just way too much stuff out there to compete with or whatever.
I guess you're still way ahead of me, man. I only have 300 followers, somewhere around there. How many?
Well, I got lucky with the second one. By all definitions, it definitely went viral. That was back in 2011. It was an exciting time because that was something I thought only happened to 18-year-old YouTubers or whatever. But I had a video viral, and I was like, this is great, and it hit like over 1 million, and I was like, oh, it's great. And so that's where all the subscribers
Yeah,
came
that's
from.
probably where you built. Yeah, dude, these are great. You have 52,000 subscribers. You've got you got some of these cooking videos with over 1 million views, man. You know,
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
the Chili for One. If anybody wants to get started on one, that would be episode 2. Chili for One is the one that anytime Chili for One.
Right.
That's the one. People were stealing it and they were putting it on, re-uploading it as their own video. Like that's usually a sign that something's going on. Yeah. Like, wow, I have something people want to steal now.
People are stealing my shit. I'm somebody. It's taking me this long to get there. All right. I feel pretty good about myself.
Now I'm going to figure out what to do about that new problem. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll link all that stuff in the thing afterwards, too. Yeah, I watched a couple of the videos last night, man. You got to watch everybody. I haven't watched the chili one, though. I was going to put it up, but I'll watch that one tonight after I get off. So everybody watch it afterwards.
You might find them relaxing because, you know, with all the stuff that's going on in the world, this would be something that you can do that you're literally turning your brain off. It's just like you're just watching some pathetic dude trying to cook in his own apartment and it's not going well.
Just hit the playlist and start hitting play. Just let them all play out. That'll be good. That's good. All right,
got
man.
Some guests there too.
Pardon me? Hang on.
Some guests, you know, like Chris Fairbanks did one, Brendan Walsh, Nikki Glazer.
Yeah, I saw Glazer, man. Well, Glazer's in the Punching the Clown. I saw her in that.
Yeah,
and,
I think she's a great actress, and she's great.
She's good. She's very funny. Dude, that was another scene in Punching the Clown that's very funny. That party scene, Jesus, that's really hilarious.
Oh yeah,
dude, that was classic L.A. It's really the best. All right, I'll put all this stuff in the bio afterwards, dude. Before we get out of here, man. It's been congratulations on the engagement. I know I think I said it when you originally got engaged, but you explained to me that you guys are gonna take the leap. When? Now, right? This soon.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
weekend.
So just a brief timeline. December, we took the train to New Mexico, which I recommend, and we went from Union Station all the way out to Albuquerque, and then rented a car and saw Taos and Santa Fe, and just sort of like. Just adventured all over New Mexico, and I asked her to marry me, and she said yes. And then we went out and partied like crazy, and so then a few months later, I announced it on my Facebook, and got a lot of love from people out there. And then the COVID thing happened, and we're just like, well, how the hell are we going to pull this off? You know. Because she's got a huge family and nieces and nephews and all that stuff, and she wanted to have all that stuff. Eventually, and this is, to her credit, I got to say, she doesn't let things stop her. So she sort of came up with the idea to do a socially distant ceremony out in the desert, out in Joshua Tree. So we're going to do that this weekend. Her best friend is going to officiate it, and it'll be official. And COVID officially will not have stopped us from getting married. So
dude,
I
that's
can't
very
use
impressive. No, yeah, wow, she's serious. She's not messing around.
Oh yeah, no, we're doing this.
Yeah, we're doing this. It's happening. How's her? Is that okay with her family? She got a big family. You're not going to do where's the big wedding thing, right?
We're, as we speak, we're trying to look into doing a Zoom type thing.
Right.
There's a lot of pros and cons there, but if it's something as simple as just setting up, the iPhone and catching a wide view of the whole thing and letting her family feel like they're a part of the experience, then I'm all for it. So we're trying to work that out now.
Good, man. Are her parents going to be there?
2020. No, they're not going to be. No, it's just going to be. It's literally just going to be her friend officiating it, and then Deborah and I, and
oh, that's great.
And her sister's going to be there as a witness. Yeah,
oh, dude, you're going to remember that forever. You know what I mean? Everybody remembers the wedding, but what a weird time to be getting married. You know what I mean? COVID. And...
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, it's this year has just been surreal. It's just like if a year ago, like I had my birthday in November a year ago, and it was like 75 of my friends all showed up to Molly Malone's over there, and it just it was just a blast. And then here I am a year later, just by myself, just not seeing anybody, and
sitting in a room staring at a computer.
Yeah, with a mask. It's like if I was able to to see just a little glimpse, you know, just an image of what my next birthday would be like. I'd be like, what in the hell? Are we in Mad Max or what's going on? You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of, I can't wait for everything to get back going again.
Dude, I just like to get close. I like to get closer. It seemed like we're getting closer, and then now we're getting farther away. And I don't think it's going to be till after the winter. I think this winter is going to be a big deal because of the weather and the flu and the inside thing.
Yeah, it's the flu season anyway, and so I think that's just just gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah,
but
you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm so thankful. Well, for you to give me all this time to talk about what I've been doing and everything like that, and also fans out there listening and paying attention. That's pretty much, there'd be no way to do it without that, you know.
Yeah,
so.
Right now. Well, hopefully we'll get stuff, try to get people to watch you online. It's so hard. Like you said, people have so many options to watch stuff now. But the cool thing is that when people watch you and they support your channel, they're into you. You know what I mean? They're not just there for the hell of it. They're a fan of yours. You know that there's someone that you.
Yeah.
So if anything, that niche thing has kind of helped us in a way. It helps us narrow in on our people. It's just annoying when the one person sneaks through that doesn't like you and says something. And you're like, shut up. Who invited you? Get out of here. I don't need you.
Yeah, totally. Oh,
yeah, right.
Man.
Just focus on the happy people.
Yeah, it's still out there. It can come get you any moment.
Fucking haters.
Oh man, the Henry's Kitchen ones, man. I've had some. I mean, I've just.
How can anybody hate Henry's Kitchen? The whole point of it is to be. You know what I mean?
I guess it's a punching bag. You know, it could just be. I don't
really?
know what it. Yeah, just a chance for people to everything that they've ever wanted to say to somebody. Yeah.
Beat up on the poor hard luck guy that can't make French toast. Really? That's how you're surviving through COVID? That just seems weird to me.
It's usually people that don't get the joke. Yeah, but it's like, dude, you're a pussy.
This guy's an idiot. What do you do? I don't. How can you take any of these seriously?
Yeah. Oh, it's hilarious, man.
Dude, that's the best. I think that's when watching negative comments would be funny because they're not getting the joke. So you're more like, well, you don't know what we're doing.
Yeah. I don't mind much on there.
Somebody critiques my stand-up or something online. I'm like, what? What do you? Someone wrote hack on one of Someone wrote hack on my page a few weeks ago. I got so angry. I was walking around the house and the girl's like, "What's wrong with you?" I go, "Some guy called me a hack. Some guy called me." And she's like, "Do you know him?" I go, "No." And she's like, "Why are you upset?" I go, "Because I'm not a hack." And I was so mad.
Yeah,
I was so frustrated.
It stays with you all day. I mean, I've had it where I just like somebody says something, I'm like, oh man. Especially when it came to the movie, they were just like, somebody was like, "Yeah, I saw this at the premiere in Austin, and it was boring." And I'm just like, oh man, all that work, all these guys moving heavy sets and cameras and everything all the time, the money, people losing their money, and then it's just boring,
Dude, the time and dedication that you and your friend put into it, and all the work and the sacrifice and everything, it's all erased by one person going boring. You're like, damn it!
Exactly. Yeah,
asshole.
It's
my
crazy.
Whole life,
yeah.
Jerks. See, this is why we need live audiences back. So we need that immediate gratification back as soon as possible, make us feel better about ourselves. Yeah. Yeah, right on. All right, man. Folks, that's Henry Phillips, man. We're going to get out of here, I think. This was awesome, dude. Thank you so much for being here. Dude, anything else you want to plug or throw out there? Otherwise, it's all on the YouTube page. It's all going to be on there.
I think we did a great job. Thanks for helping me push all this stuff. And man, it looks like you got a great thing going. I was just watching the opening titles, and man, you've had some great people in there. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been great, man. Thank you for taking your time to be here, and enjoy the wedding this weekend, man. Enjoy the time. It's going to be a very cool moment.
I will.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, let me know. Send it out to all my people too. So yeah, that'll be great.
I will. Well, this is up and ready to go now, buddy. I'll send you the link.
Really?
You share it to everybody. We're live now, and it just stays up online. So there you go. So we're all set. Folks, say goodbye to Henry, my good friend Henry Phillips, right there. Wish him well. He's getting married. You guys that are married know what that means. Make sure you say congratulations to him. All right, Henry. Take care, buddy. Stay healthy, bud.
Thanks, Lenny.
All right, man. That is Henry Phillips. Look at that, guys. Look at that. There were no problems today. Zero, none, nada. Things went off without a hitch. I even cut and edited video on the fly. I'm getting better at this. I'm getting better at some of it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for being here. We're off tomorrow, Friday. Rocky Laporte will be here. I did talk to him this week, so he's all set and ready to go. So we're all set for Friday night, man. There we go. Also, Monday, so you know, Larry Omaha will be here on Monday of next week. And then that's it going into the Thanksgiving break. We're taking a break for a week after that. So Rocky Laporte on Friday and Larry Omaha on Monday. If you enjoyed the show, like the video. Follow the page. Subscribe to the page. Also, if you want to support or fund, I can't remember we decided how the right word to use. Any of those options right there from my show right there, you can go to any of those. There's a $1 option at every single one of those. You can go to my webpage, lennyschmidt.com/if-you-can, or do Lenny Schmidt Comedy at any of those cash apps right there. Also, the Patreon, you can join. That's a monthly fee. Again, Rachel Zimmerman, thank you so much for joining my Patreon page. I can't thank you enough. For those of you that do support the show on a regular basis or occasionally or when you do watch the show, you might want to think about joining the Patreon page. That way you're getting charged just like, $1, $5, $10 a month. The more you give, the more you get over there at Patreon. So you automatically get all my albums and some other stuff. But if you're in the higher tier, like the $50 tiers, you get into writer sessions that we do in group meetings and stuff like that. And I will be in touch with all the Patreon members moving forward, as I always am. You guys are great. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in 2 days. As always, do me a favor. Please dream of Pinky.
Lenny Schmidt Quarantine Comedy was created, produced, and is hosted by Lenny Schmidt. We live stream on YouTube at 6 p.m. Pacific every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Special episodes occasionally stream or are uploaded on Tuesday and Thursday. Every episode is also launched as a podcast and can be heard on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. If you enjoyed the show, please like the video. If you really like it, share the video. If you really, really like it, please subscribe to the Lenny Schmidt Comedy channel on YouTube. You'll get updates on this and numerous other online comedy content that my dad produces. Check the info section below for detailed information on all of our guests. If you are a fan, you can follow and support them as well. Go to their page, like their content, buy their albums, purchase a shirt, any merch they may be selling. Anything you do will support performers will literally help save the arts. In fact, if you want to support this show financially, just go to lennyschmidt.com/if-you-can or Venmo at Lenny Schmidt Comedy. If you donate as little as $1 or as much as $10,000, it will help pay for the stuff my dad keeps breaking. If you can't pay for the comedy content, that's okay. COVID sucks for all of us. Enjoy the free show. If you want to find a way to support what we do, just subscribe to Lenny Schmidt Comedy channel on YouTube. That really helps a lot. Thank you for listening to my dad's show, and as always, dream of Pinky.